Morning, guys. Last night I have decided to kick up this ministry or this channel, whatever you like to call it, up a notch. Even if it means doing a small 15-minute video, I'll try to keep them down, either reading a story, maybe a couple of verses, just thinking out loud when I'm thinking of the day, because we are running out of time. We are so close. I don't think us being here very much longer. With that being said, in the description box, I put me and my wife's Cash App. I redid the link. It is very easier to get to. Donate if you wish. I am a broken man. We all are. Which is the reason why I was very disappointed, even though I sat here and said that I don't trust man and don't trust setting a date. But a small part of me hopefully wished that we were out of here that day. I'm tired of struggling with bills. I'm tired of struggling to pay my mortgage. Work is turning sour. Those who I work with who watch these, I'm just not going to get into it, but it's not good. Oh, let's start off with something. Yeah, that Bible was pink, because my Bible is maroon. And I wanted to read Psalm 48, but I wanted to read it out of the KJV today. We used to sing this in church camp, and it sounds better, I'd hate to admit, in the KJV. So, Psalm 48. Boy, I just feel like belting this out in song every time I read this, because it brings back so many memories. We sang this all the time at church camp. Psalm 48, starting with verse 1. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised, in the city of our God, and the mountain of his holiness. Beautiful for situation, the joy of the whole earth, is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great King. You know what that is? That is the kingdom of Jesus. When he touches down on the Mount of Olives, splits it in two, he's going to set up his kingdom on Mount Zion, the city of the great King. I like that verse. Folks, so it looked like Hamas has, to my surprise, accepted the plan. They've accepted it. And Trump, this is a story I read out of Fox last night, has immediately told Israel to stop bombing Gaza. Now we await for the hostages released. I know what we're all thinking. Are they going to be released in caskets? I pray that they're not, that some of them are going to be alive. I pray. But I bet you some of them are not. That's a shame. Look. Peace and safety. look for a flood of the Washington channels to come out with a video that they accepted that deal. It's really the Oslo Accords all over again. You know what the Palestinians did with the Oslo Accords? They broke every one of them. They broke every one of them. I did watch a video that I'm kind of agreeing with, who came out and say that even though a lot of people are saying Trump's the Antichrist, no, he's not. You might disagree with me, but he's not. However, I agree with the fact that he said he is setting up the stage of the Antichrist. The Abrahamic Accords, now this. Saudi Arabia's happy with this plan. Jordan is happy with this plan. Georgia's happy with this. But what, Georgia? Where'd that come from? No, I'm not thinking about that Ray guy. Georgia? I don't know where Georgia come from. Jordan's happy with this plan. Egypt's happy with this plan. Qatar's happy with this plan. You get where I'm going with this? Palestine's happy with this plan. But you know what they want. They want the whole nation. Look, we don't have much time here. Look, I know we're all tired. I know we're exhausted. When I was in high school, I ran cross country every Saturday. In the fall, 3.5 miles. It was brutal because most of September, if not in October, about halfway through October, it starts cooling down here in Texas. We'd run, and when I was a freshman in high school, I did this Saturdays. I wasn't trained. I don't know what I was thinking. I got better as the year went on. However, I remember my first couple of races. Me and a handful of guys were crawling to the finish line. We were exhausted and couldn't barely muster enough strength to stand up and crawl across that finish line. We could see it in the distance, the finish line, but we were crawling. But as soon as I get maybe 20 yards from that finish line, what did I do? I stood up with all of my strength, and I stumbled across the finish line where everybody was waiting for me to cheering me on. They were cheering me on. Go, Richard, go. Where they presented me with some water as soon as I crossed the finish line. Jesus is standing there at the finish line cheering us on. Keep going. Keep going. Right now I'm crawling. I don't know what to do from one day to the next, but try. I do a miserable job doing it. But I tell you, I read a factoid, and I'm going somewhere with this. I always remembered this fact because it explains a lot with what I'm about to say. Humans can smell water far more superior than sharks can smell blood in the water. Blood in the water. Now listen, that's true, because I remember back when I was 12 or 13, I don't remember. Dad took us to Galveston. I've always wanted to go back, even though I don't like the beach, but I did like Galveston. They have a pier, they have a 100-plus-year-old candy shop, a confectioner shop. It's pretty cool. King's Confectionery, I think. You can look it up. It's old. But as soon as we got close to the city, even though you couldn't quite see the beach yet, you can smell the salt water and the beach in the air. You can smell it in the air. I've always liked the mountains, but a small part of me loves those really old beach towns. Have you ever stepped outside on a gloomy day? You can smell the oncoming rain, and it starts to rain an hour later. How about stepping outside when it's cold outside and you can smell that it's about to snow? With that being said, we can smell that the rapture is very close. We can smell it. Everything happening. We can see it and we can smell it in the air. The rapture is soon. So even if you're crawling, keep heading toward the finish line. Even if you're crawling, keep trudging on. Even if you're crawling, don't give hope. Don't give up hope. What I meant to say, don't give up hope. Because he's waiting for us at the finish line. What's the finish line? Us in the clouds when he calls us home. Well, I should have had this out. Like, share, subscribe. Donate if you wish. I'm going to try to get on here every day, cover a small news story, keep it very simple. I'll try to keep it under 20 minutes, 15 minutes maybe. Acts 13, 30 and 39. Therefore, let it be known to you, brethren, that through him forgiveness of sins is proclaimed to you, and through him everyone who believes is free from all things from which you could not be freed through the law of Moses. 1 Corinthians 15, 3 and 4. For I delivered to you as of first importance what I have received, that he received on Damascus road, that Christ died for our sins according to Scripture, and that he was buried, and that he was raised on the third day according to Scriptures. He had to die a brutal death, a very bloody death, so we can wash our sins in his blood. Because it's that simple. Romans 10, 13. For whosoever will call on the name of the Lord will be saved. If you are still watching, thank you for keeping up with this channel, even though a lot of times it's been way over my head. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me. I'm telling you, the rapture is so close you can smell it. Hang in there. Love you guys.